So we're on channel 1, and so what this technology will do is allow you to wander around and still stay in touch with the whole crew. So I hope you can hear me. So we're on channel 1 and just adjust the volume. So first of all, it's really wonderful that we have the mayor of the city, welcome you all, to this wonderful place. And so what we're going to do is first of all ask, the mayor to give his welcome remarks, and then Sri Kumar sir will give us a little brief about the project that we're going to see. So I'm going to ask the mayor to give his welcome remarks.
Thank you. Either delegates, all bank senior officials and deputy head, Swiss Development Corporation, Secretary of Ministry of Labor, Employment and Social Security, and Secretary of Ministry of Urban Development. It is indeed a pleasure to welcome all of you in our beautiful city, Lalitpur. Lalitpur is the oldest city of Nepal and is a hub of culture, religion and history. Lalitpur Metropolitan City has a long and rich history that dates back to the 3rd century BC. The city is known as Patan, the center of fine arts and handicraft center. Today, Lalitpur city is renowned for its traditional Newari architecture, which features intricate carvings and designs on buildings, windows and doors. The city is also home to several UNESCO World Heritage Sites, such as the Patan Darbar Square, which features ancient palaces, temples and statues. Lalitpur is the Old Craft Council's 35th member city, and this city is very famous for a lot of temples. Up until 1960s, it is used to say that there are many temples than houses and many images of gods and goddesses than population. But that has not been the case now due to the urbanization. The present day Patan is focused on improving its livability and sustainability, for which we have been implementing projects such as the Lalitpur Smart City project. The Lalitpur Smart City project aims to transform the city into a sustainable and livable urban center for improving its infrastructure, public services and connectivity. The project has already achieved significant milestones such as the installation of LED streetlights, high mast lights and the development of a mobile app for citizens to report issues to the authorities. The World Bank is an old friend of Lalitpur, very old friend. And we have been several successful collaborations. One of those you can see right after we reach over there. You will see the impact of past project, proper urban regeneration, PURPP, hear from women beneficiaries of the ongoing project, Youth Employment Transformation Initiative about their employment related challenges and successes, and have a discussion on urban development with a group of mayors and deputy mayors in Lalitpur Metropolitan City Office. Today, in the few hours you spend with us, we hope you gain some understanding of implementation of federalism in Nepal from a local perspective, use of federal funding in delivering urban infrastructure and regeneration, maintaining cultural heritage and providing employment opportunities and challenges urban women face in the labor market. I understand you have been in Nepal for the past few days and have been discussing your policy and financial packages, priorities of International Development Association for the next 3 years. We hope what you see today will play some role in your thinking about development needs of cities like ours and country like Nepal too. Finally, I wish all of you the best in your ongoing IDA discussion. Thank you. And in the meantime, I just want to introduce you the famous lady. She is my deputy mayor. And
Secretary.
And she's our chief of administrative staff. Okay. In Nepal, the constitution says if the mayor is male, then the deputy mayor must be female. So that is it. And regarding Rekha Das Shrestha, she is the first woman chief administrative officer in the metropolitan city. So that will be recorded in the Nepalese Guinness Book of Record. Okay. Wow. Okay. Thank you so much. Now I pass this on to our famous Mr. Chief.
So thank you very much. So what we'll do is I'm going to ask Sri Kumar P to give you a brief on the project that we're going to observe, and then we will start the walk.
My name is Sri Kumar Pawarjo, Infrastructure Division. Now I am going to brief on for urban regeneration pilot project PURPP. The urban regeneration pilot project PURPP was under JSDF, Japanese Social Development Fund, financing of $2.7 billion with administrative support of the World Bank and matching municipal and community contribution of $0.3 million. This pilot was implemented from 2014 to 2018. The vision was to transform the project area into a culturally and economically vibrant zone that is more livable for all, and in particular metropolitan cities poor and vulnerable groups. The project focused on cultural tourism and development of cultural industry by promoting cultural heritage work and investigating urban regeneration through participatory approach, including community awareness and municipal capacity building. The cultural heritage was started at Patan Doga, this place, and in of the World Heritage Site, Patan Dada Square. It has supported to uplift the livelihood of poor urban poor, as well as provided ample opportunities for the tourism to learn about culture and tradition in the port city of Patan. project interventions for integrated urban regeneration activities including 3 windows. Windows 1, pro municipal basic infrastructure development along the cultural heritage park. Windows 2, pro community-based initiative support conservation of tangible and intangible cultural heritage. Window 3, for business development initiatives aims at development of cultural industries and systemic promotion of cultural tourism. Numerous consultants implementation have been carried out of community awareness and municipal capacity building of on tangible and intangible cultural heritage, assets and socio-economic values. More than 23,000 people out of the original target of 3,000 benefited from urban regeneration activities, and 1,619 people out of which 971 are female reported an increase in income which surpassed the original target of 600 people. Thank you.
Is really to thank the mayor, the deputy mayor, and the chief administrative officer for the municipality. And so we start our walk, and then at the end of the walk, we're going to see the mayor again at his office.
I will accompany with you.
Oh, okay. So he's going to join us.
Wherever you go.
Thank you very much. So he's going to be with us all the time, so that's even better. On what was. It has many functions. We don't really of not taking care of the wooden pieces, but the person down the road who knows how to make a new one. Right? I want you to look at these two houses, on your left or my right. But look at these two houses, and you can see both the houses were built with rent in mind. So both houses, they seek rent. So the earthquakes in 1934, you can see people use cement and steel to add floors. So what we're going to hear is about this space which is dedicated to a water tank and how it has been conserved. And to do that, we have Sailendra Shrestha.
Namaste.
And maybe the best way to introduce him is as a troublemaker. Because he's somebody who knows how to mobilize the community, he knows how to get things done, and also pick up a fight with the mayor when it is needed.
Thank you very much. I'm Soilan Shrestha, as Anil already told you. I'm the local resident, and firstly, I'd like to welcome you all, the ID team, the World Bank ID team in our community. So we make a brief walk around the pond. In the meantime, I'll be telling you how the World Bank project, the PRP, has been changed, and the economic level of the community has been changed. And the whole area that's been like a dump site on this pond once a time. So it's been all, in 2014, the World Bank PRP project came on, and it had to take a couple of years to be implemented. And in 2017, the whole project, the PRP, has been completed. Since then, the whole scenario of the community has been changed, right? As the community itself is a very historic community, it's a historic community. We had a royal regime and who ruled for about 240 years. And since then, we passed out only about 25 years. And before the royal regime, there was a Malay regime. And before the Malay regime also, there was the whole Kashmir Valley was a single kingdom. And at a time, this area was regarded as the western part governor's office. So as a governor's office, there's economically and politically it was rich. That's why there's always been a fight, always been a political issues in that area. Since then, we had, let's make a walk. Since then, we had this temple, this is a Hindu temple. We call it the Chandishwari, the goddess of power. Goddess of power. It has been dedicated and it was been brought by the Goyobaja. We used to call him a Goyobaja, the tantric, rich tantric, powerful tantric priest. And it has been done by the Goyobaja himself, and the pond itself also has a story been built by the Goyobaja, right? And first of all, I've come here, I'd like to show you the stone over there. Here's one big stone, it lies in the waterbed. It is known as the Lake Lo. Fortunately, you people are all lucky to see this low, this stone, because it has been buried under the water in the waterbed whenever there's a water. So this stone do have the story that whenever the water drought time starts and there's the water level goes down in the pond, the day the stone showed up the surface, that they had to rain. Maybe that's a science beyond science, and they believe it or not. I am 60 years old, and in my lifetime, I have seen four times in my lifetime that the water body, the stone body showed up in the surface and it rained. Yeah, this time we just after 27 we cleaned up the pond in the PRP project. So instantly we have all this intangible heritage also. All the local women and the local people, they start in these rituals and chanting. We do it every day, and some of the time weeks we do once a week. This is also a rich culture and rich tradition of our community and our religion, right? As I told you, the stone in the pond, that has been a Lake Lo, and still that stone do have such energy. Still now that do have energy that we, the community people, believe that there's a strong energy. So that's why we don't step over that stone. Whenever somebody steps on that stone, means he starts having some sort of allergies, and in that case, none of the allopathic medicines or doctors can be removed recovered. Only that we do have some rituals, traditions that worshipping that we do over worshipping in that stone, then that allergies has been gone, that allergies is restored. And this pond is believed to be made by the Goyobaja about 700 years back. Since then, we do have this Jogmadu Puku means the foundation without pond without the foundation. Right? Jog means a foundation, Puku means a pond, and Jogmadu means no. So Jogmadu Puku means a pond without the foundation. It is believed that it has been made by the same tantric Goyobaja about 700 years back. At a time, there was a lot of lakes. The lakes means we call it the lake means our traditional word, the Tet word, and those lakes were called as the human-friendly demons. Human-friendly demons, and every evening they used to come and play over the ground. And once that Goyobaja sees that, then he, by his tantric power, he control over all those demons, and to control and force them to make a pond over it. And when the pond was completed, in the morning time when the sun started to coming up, that all the demons couldn't go away. So as a committee, the leader completed the stone, and while on the process of completion, he couldn't go away, so he went hide in beneath that stone. That's why we call that stone as a Lake Lo. Lake Lo means Lake stone, right? So since 700 years back, it was all in the shape, and there is all the big stones surrounded the wall. That's why we believe that the wall were made without the foundation. That's why we call it the Jogmadu Puku, pond without foundation. Otherwise, pond never had the foundations, right? That's why we try to justify our pond as the Jogmadu Puku, so the wall has been built without foundation.